This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin Freakin.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol live. It's a freaking Tuesday. DJ Dub, PP Girl, good evening. Hopefully we're able to do a show unimpeded tonight. If you were tuned in last night, we were getting ready to watch Carrie Lake talk about her election conspiracies. Ah, yes, Warlord. We'll do that off the top of the show. Promise you. And all of a sudden, just the stream ended. But yet, I didn't even notice it for a couple minutes because the video was working. Mitochondria, good evening. So, unbeknownst to me that we weren't on, it was Restream. I checked the outage meter and Restream reports just went through the roof about 8:30, 8:40, whatever it was. Typed in Restream in Twitter. A whole bunch of streamers were really pissed off. Restream is it's the service I use to where you guys can chat back and forth. And for some reason, it doesn't work with Kick. But back when we were on Twitch, you would see Twitch messages on YouTube. You'd see YouTube messages in Twitch. It allows me to broadcast to multiple different platforms at the same time. I made a joke in the Discord that I would have had to figure out how to actually go live straight from Kick. It's not that big of a deal. I would have had to, change some settings, right? So, in OBS, the thing that I use to broadcast, I just sign into Restream and everything's already there. But to do it manually, I would have had to gone to Kick and gone into the settings, found what they call the stream key, and I would have had to, type in the blah, 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 blah. It's a whole big ordeal. So instead, I just ordered pizza. And then they took an hour and a half to bring me my pizza. The dude gets here and I was like, I'm starting to get worried about you. He's like, it's just me and one other guy. I'm sorry, man. It was a damn good pizza. It was a buy one specialty pizza, get any pizza regular at the same value free. So I got a meaty pizza. And then I got another one with just feta and meatballs on it. And holy shit, the feta and meatball one was better than the meaty one. God, I'm getting hungry already. Talk about food, I'm getting hungry. I've got chicken marinating in the... Oh, DJ Dub! Oh, hell yeah. It was just the Restream server was down. But I might hit you up for some shit. Actually, get up with me, my friend. Are you on Discord? Send me a message. I have clients that need services like yours. If you're open to getting some work, and it's not like every day I get, just once every month or so, I'll have a client be like, oh, you do any programming? You do any coding? You do blah blah blah? No, I do not. I make videos. Automation engineer. And I have a lot of clients doing a lot of AI shit now. Holy shit. And I had a vid chat with a potential client last week. And he said he had an AI app. He kept saying app. He said this app would be able to, you could integrate it into Zoom, and then it would tell the person, if you're a hiring manager or whatever, it will tell you that the person you're interviewing, if they're interested in the job, if they, if they're hostile to you, it'd be able to detect facial expressions and shit, body language, if people were interested in the position. He also talked about integrating it into glasses. People with disabilities would be able to, detect body language and shit. It does sound horrible, doesn't it? But. I download his app, and it is nothing like what this dude's 60 years old, right? He's probably a retiree, maybe 70. He's somewhere in between there. Have you seen the video of like Starbucks where they're like testing out an AI tells you, or I don't even know if it's AI. It tells you how long a customer's been at the counter, tells you how long each worker is taking to like fulfill an order. Dystopian. Like I get on the app and it like, I don't know if this dude doesn't know like what AI actually is and he was sold a bill of goods by somebody else, or if he was trying to pitch an idea and he had somebody that actually was, because I get that a lot too. People have ideas that they want to pitch and they want sells videos or whatever the fuck. I don't even know what like I'm not a marketing guy. I don't know this shit. But I get a lot of clients wanting me to make videos for like their pitches to investors and shit like that. So that's like one of the first things what's your audience for this? Are we trying to get views on YouTube, or is this a B2B thing? Are you selling to investors? Yada, 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 yada. I don't even know where I was going. But the dude's app was basically just like, it would show you a picture or video, and you picked what you thought what you thought their emotion was. I'm like, this is nothing like what you described to me. Nix, good evening. Let me go ahead and hit you with your meme of the day. Speaking of tech that has been overpromised, man, I love these Nintendo 64 graphics. Let me tell. Okay. So I was waiting to order groceries until I got paid. I actually got paid last night as I was on stream. I was like, I ordered pizza because I was about out of food. So I ordered pizza and then I ordered groceries today. But the kitties needed new litter in their litter boxes. Like I woke up this morning, I'm like, oh God, it smells so bad in here. So I cleaned the entire house as I was waiting on my groceries to get delivered. Once the groceries get here, I dump the two litter boxes into each other, or I dump one into the other, take it out, dump it into the dumpster. I even come back and I fucking clean the litter boxes, wipe them all out and everything. Wipe down the floors, fill it with fresh litter. I did my laundry, did my dishes, fucking got this place looking spotless, right? I finished that, go take a shower. I've got fresh clothes coming out of the laundry. So like I'm all so fresh and so clean as I'm sitting down here. It's about 2-3 o'clock. I sit down, I'm starting to do some work. Motherfucking Smokey here gets up in my lap as I'm doing work. And I guess ass juiced on me. Cause I'm like, oh God, it smells again. It smells again. Cause he ass juices every month or two. Oh yeah, go over there. Lay down over there. Fuck Elon. Fuck this truck. At least it could withstand an arrow from Joe Rogan. And Teslas are not well-made vehicles. You can go on Twitter and you can see photos of like the weld on the body. You can see photos of the interior molding. They mold if you leave them alone for too long. It's insane. It's almost like Elon is a fraud. Almost. Let me update you real quick. Let me update you about my issues with Jaden. Jaden, dumbass. I bitched about him, a week or two ago. Changed his profile picture to me from like 20 years ago. I don't even know where he found the picture. Like, maybe is MySpace still available? Can you, like, I haven't looked. It seemed like the last time I tried to like log into my MySpace, I couldn't. But if MySpace is available, that's where he would have found that picture. Maybe Photo Bucket? So the motherfucker, and like, I don't even know what his deal is. I don't know what he wants from me. Jaden, I would love for you to tell me exactly what it is you're upset about. I know you think I was attacking an innocent woman because I photoshopped pictures of Chris's wife in bed with me and started saying everybody cucks Chris and shit. He's like, you're sexually harassing an innocent woman. That can't be what your beef is with me. Come on, I want you to call in and explain it. So the motherfucker is all up in my DMs. He's all over, like, anytime I post something on Facebook, he comments. So finally, like, I would, like, dude, the only person hiding is you because he keeps calling me a coward. Remember, like, he wanted to drive down and face me man to man. Like, the only person hiding is you. You can have a public conversation with me, but you aren't man enough. I would actually be very fucking interested in hearing you explain exactly what you think I've done and what you think you expect to accomplish. But instead, you decided to be cowardly. Come on, talk to me like a man. He responds back, sounds like you're ready to meet up. Dude, that's what I've been saying all along, but you keep hiding behind your phone and your audience. When you are truly ready to start acting like a man, then just name the place, the day, and the time, and I'd love to enlighten you. Sounds like a threat to me, so I posted this on Facebook and said, I'm flattered, but I'm not going to let you suck my dick.
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life, then I want you inside of me.
You're not my type. This idiot is stalking me. He's tried to dox me. He keeps threatening me like this. All because a bigot came to my page and ran his mouth for months and I photoshopped his wife into pictures with me. This, for some odd reason, made Jaden dumbass upset. Why? I wish he'd tell me. I've tried to get him to call in, actually have a conversation, but he's scared. And you guys know, I would give him a wide open forum. Give you 5 minutes uninterrupted. Explain yourself. Here's the deal, kiddo. You are a loser who is begging me for attention because you don't have any friends. I never block anyone, and that is true. I blocked like a crazy ex-girlfriend one time. But I'm going to block you now. Not because you've offended me or because that I care that you have a 20-year-old picture of me as your profile pic. It's to make sure that you only have one way to get in contact with me. 917-830-4359 or Discord into the show. That's the only way you will be able to interact with me from here on out. Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll be waiting to hear from you. Stop being a coward. I don't know why it went black screen there. There's the number. Put it up on the screen. Please, Jaden, my friend. My buddy, my old pal. Please call in. Tell me what the fuck is up. I want to know what it is, why you are obsessed with me. And it's an obsession. Like, he is all in my DMs. Alright, here was something that we were going to do last night, but we didn't get a chance to get to it. Warlord has requested that I react to this. I pulled it from the list tonight. We were going to talk about Suella Braverman getting sacked and David Cameron. Kick might be being dumb. If chat wasn't working, you're back now. I said Daniel Cameron was the dude that got beat by Andy Bashir in Kentucky. David Cameron, the former Prime Minister of the UK. This was live on Sky News. They were reporting as a vehicle pulled up to Downing Street shortly after Suella Braverman was fired by Rishi Sunak, the current Prime Minister. This was the live reaction by the hosts on Sky News.
My car coming up number 10. Downing Street, I should say. I'm not quite sure who this might be. If somebody's sacked, then of course they don't come up Downing Street. That's done in private. That's the security detail just opening the door for... What the hell?
David.
Oh my God, you can barely hear it in the background. Somebody says, what the hell, or oh hell. Listen for it again.
Or... What the hell?
David Cameron.
What?
I was not expecting that.
Okay, so there have been stories in the last few days that David Cameron, who had never really found his feet after leaving the job of Prime Minister, did.
Now remember, this is the dude who called for Brexit, the Brexit referendum, and he resigned after.
Jobs that were controversial, wrote a memoir, but never.
And that's when Theresa May sauntered onto the stage. Remember, she had the. I know it's hard to keep all your prime ministers in line because there have been so many in the last few years in Britain.
By car coming up number 10. Downing Street, I should say. Not quite sure who this might be. If somebody's sacked, then of course they don't come up Downing Street. That's done in private. That's the security detail just opening the door for. What the hell?
David Cameron? What? I was not expecting that.
Okay, so there have been stories in the last few days that David Cameron, who had never really found his feet after leaving the job of Prime Minister, did jobs that were controversial, wrote a memoir, but never put on weight, never
put on weight,
found his feet post. Presumably, what we've just seen would mean a place in the House of Lords.
Guys. Let's roll that again.
And the Foreign Secretary?
Could be
David Cameron, Lord Cameron, Foreign Secretary. Can't be, can it?
Yes, it can. David Cameron is now the Foreign Secretary. Warlord, like, it would be like President Obama coming back to serve as the Secretary of State under Joe Biden. That's what this is like. President Obama coming back to serve as Secretary of State. A demotion is what that would be seen as. Now, am I wrong? The very first episode of Black Mirror, where they I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but the pig episode, like that prime minister was based on David Cameron, right? The one that has to fuck the pig. Oh God, I love that episode. That's the first episode of Black Mirror, and it might be my favorite episode. I've not watched the new season yet. I need to. I've downloaded it. Haven't had a chance to watch it. Also, okay, so I saw headlines as I was putting the show together yesterday that there was an insensitive joke made on Saturday Night Live with Timothy, and I always fuck his name up. It's not Timothy Charlemagne. It's Timothy Shinglelat or something. I kept seeing the headlines, but I didn't know what the joke was. I didn't click the news story to find out, because I usually watch Saturday Night Live. So when I was eating my pizza last night, I watched Saturday Night Live, and waited for the whole show. I'm like, where's this joke? Where's this joke? Gets to close to the end. I think it's the skit after the second musical performance. And the God, I forget their names. The writer guys, the don't whatchamacallit boys. They're walking on the street in New York, and they see a guy that's getting ready to jump from a building, commit suicide. And they're like trying to talk him down. He's like, I want people to listen. And it's Timothy Charlemagne playing the dude that's getting ready to jump. He's like, I want people to listen to my music, blah, blah, blah. And he does some songs for him. And like, what can we do to get you down, man? He's like, will you follow my band on Instagram? And he's like, sure, what's your band's name? And he's like, Hamas, Hamas. And then they react like, oh my God, we're not following a band called Hamas on Instagram. I died. That was probably the funniest joke on the whole show. But apparently it caused a stir. Chalamet. Dude's talented. I've never seen like any of his movies, I don't think. Apparently he's Willy Wonka now. But really, like, he did a good job hosting. Excellent job. All right, let me run down what we're going to be talking about tonight. Oh my God. I'm just going to go ahead and say that we have a lot of fights. There's a lot of fights going on Capitol Hill. Both physical and verbal. We're going to be discussing several of them. Several fights on Capitol Hill. Oh, and one that's not a fight. They apparently came to an agreement, was able to pass a bill on government funding. We're not going to have a countdown to a shutdown. I thought we were going to be live on Friday night, but apparently not. We're going to cover several of the stories that I didn't get a chance to cover last night. Did Biden call David Axelrod a prick? We're going to talk about... I'm going to play that clip of Carrie Lake. It's a long one, but I want to watch it. That clip of Carrie Lake. I think she was being interviewed by the guys on The Circus, the Showtime show. A vote to impeach the Homeland Defense Secretary, I think is his title. Alejandro Mayorkas. That is who the Lady Gaga song was written about. Alejandro. What's it? Also, like, there's several posts going around on Twitter about how many people in the government are Jewish. Very anti-Semitic posts, as if I'm one to talk. And they had Alejandro Mayorkas listed as Jewish. I'm like, I thought he was Hispanic. And I looked it up. He's a Cuban Jew. I did not know that was a thing. Parents apparently fled the Holocaust. Or not parents, grandparents fled the Holocaust and went to Cuba. Parents fled the Cuban Revolution and came to America, apparently. We're going to touch on the adoption of a code of ethics by the Supreme Court. Spoiler alert, it's not much of one. Brett Hankinson, the man who possibly shot Breonna Taylor. There's a couple of dudes that fired into the apartment. We don't know exactly which one it was, but Hankinson was there the night Breonna Taylor was killed. His trial ongoing, jury currently deliberating. A former Indiana police chief has been arrested. The story I did not look at myself because I wanted to wait and do it with you guys. A dude stole a game camera. A game camera that was set out in the woods to catch wildlife. Dude stole the camera. The camera is still transmitting images back to law enforcement, and the dude apparently doesn't know it unless they've caught him since yesterday. A mom who was carjacked is suing Volkswagen for apparently impeding the investigation into getting their child back that was in the car. A bus crash in Ohio has left a handful of people dead. A nightmare for traffic in LA as the freeway that caught on fire will be closed 3 to 5 weeks. There are similar fires on other freeways in California. This one, we're gonna do some sports tonight. Apparently, a school board member has been accused of leaking plays from one of the teams that was in the playoffs. All that and a lot freaking more tonight on the Troll Patrol live. Sky Comet. Dustin, good evening. Also, I want to give a shout out. One of my best friends in the whole world. It's his birthday today. He doesn't watch the show. He's probably in the gym right now. But Chip, my friend, happy birthday to you. You guys know him affectionately as Puzzle Bitch. That is what Sparkles nicknamed him, Puzzle Bitch. It's Puzzle Bitch's birthday today. And also, I missed Dustin's birthday yesterday. Dustin Dance. A regular viewer of the Troll Patrol. I was going to give you a shout out yesterday. Flipped my mind, and then I got cut off before the end of the show. So apologies to everybody for the abrupt end of the stream last night. Restream's fault, not mine. That's what my internet was fine, like everything was going well. Yes, light one up, tip one back, and I am positive if Chip is back home, he's tipping one back. He might light one up. He usually has pot on hand, but he doesn't smoke it very often. Usually just when he's around me. But happy birthday to you, Puzzle Bitch. For your birthday, the government got you a fantastic present. It's staying open, at least for a few more weeks.
Votes by electronic device. This is a 5-minute vote.
Has it already taken effect, Sky Comet? So this is Democrats joining with Republicans to pass a continuing resolution to keep the government open. A little boring business before we get down to the multiple fights. The plan was devised by new Speaker Mike Johnson. It's going to extend funding for some government agencies through mid-January and others through early February. The measure is needed the support of 2/3 of the House to pass, which it actually exceeded. It's also expected to pass the Senate and will be signed into law by Joe Biden. Democratic leadership in both chambers have embraced Johnson's bill because it keeps the spending at current levels without the deep cuts to social programs that the Freedom Cock has pushed for. Get to the end and we'll see the end of the vote here. And apparently the Democrats didn't really get anything out of it, but it just keeps the government open for a few weeks at the current spending levels. We're not even going to see the motion get adopted. We're not going to get the gavel. Oh, there we go.
36. The nays are 95. 2/3 being in the affirmative, the rules are suspended. The bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
This might actually get Mike Johnson in hot water with his cock. Johnson in hot water with his cock. Because they really did not want to keep the government open. I believe the Freedom Cock. Are we going to see exactly? Or is the Freedom Cock, the 60 or so Republicans that voted against the bill, are they going to pull an uprising and oust Mike Johnson as the speaker? We will see. We shall see. Fuzzy Zimba, good evening. You got here just in time for the fireworks. Holy shit. Multiple fights. Some physical. Apparently Kevin McCarthy is still upset about being ousted from the speakership, going around just kidney punching people.
They say the U.S. Senate is the greatest deliberative body in the world, and they refer to the House of Representatives as the People's House. But after today, we might just need to start calling Capitol Hill Fight Club. While we the people face a government shutdown in less than 3 days amid public concerns about inflation, amid 2 global crises that require U.S. engagement, and amid polling that continues to show this country more sharply divided than ever before, elected representatives today literally jabbed each other and picked fights. It began in the House, where during an interview with a radio reporter, Tennessee Republican Congressman Tim Burchett says he was elbowed from behind in the kidneys by none other than the former leader of his conference, former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Here's what he told our Scott McFarlane about the incident.
Kevin McCarthy walked by and he elbowed me in the kidneys as he walked by.
You're quite confident this was deliberate.
Oh, come on.
They're like, oh, here's the crazy thing is like to elbow someone in the kidneys, like you gotta like go down at him. Like Kevin McCarthy is not a short man. He's pretty fucking tall. Elbow in the kidneys.
I'll take a polygraph test and have Kevin take a polygraph test.
McCarthy denies this happened.
When I was walking back further, I was saying somebody was interviewing me or talking to me, and he comes running up like, why did you hit me or something like that? I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't even know something transpired.
Short time later, over on the Senate.
No. I don't want you to cover it because I got the whole fucking thing. We're gonna watch the whole goddamn exchange. But before we do that, we're gonna keep it in the House. There was another exchange in the House. This one was just a verbal altercation. This involved James Comer, the head of the Judiciary Committee.
Is Mr. Trust Fund continue to try to
reclaiming my time?
No, I'm not going to give you your time back. We can stop the clock. You all continue to. You look like a Smurf here, just going around and all this stuff. Now listen,
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to tell you something. Hold on. If we're not on time,
you look like a Smurf going around and all this stuff. Is he blue?
You disinformation.
You have gone on TV and said the president did something illegal. You're doing stuff with your brother. The American people have the same questions. Why should they believe you? Why should they believe you? Why should they believe you? There's a different rule for the president. There's a different rule for you. Why should they believe what you're saying, Mr. Chairman? Why? You go on Fox News and say loans and deals are a way to evade taxes. We don't know that's what you're doing or not. We don't know. We have no idea. We're supposed to take your word for it. But when the president says something,
you've already been proven a liar, Mr. Moskowitz.
What's that?
You've already been proven a liar.
Who's proven me a liar? You?
Yes.
Your word means nothing, Mr. Chairman.
Go to my hometown. There's a camera crew there today, an opposition research crew there today.
Mr. Chairman, this seems to have gotten under your skin.
I'll pay for your ticket.
I think the American people have lots of questions, Mr. Chairman, and perhaps you should sit maybe for a deposition.
I will be happy. I will sit with Hunter Biden and Jim Biden, and we can go over our LLCs.
That'll be great. I'll make sure the ranking member.
Our LLCs. To catch everybody up, if you weren't here last night, we covered, or maybe it was Sunday night. James Comer, who has been one of the leading voices in trying to impeach Joe Biden for giving loans to his brother, totally gave loans to his brother. And as we detailed, it seems his loans were a lot sketchier than anything that Hunter Biden and Joe Biden are accused of doing.
Is Mr. Trust Fund continue to try to
reclaiming my time?
No, I'm not going to give you your time back. We can stop the clock. You all continue to. You look like a Smurf here, just going around and all this stuff. Now listen,
Mr. Chairman, I'm
going to tell you something.
Hold on. If we're
is it because he was wearing a blue jacket?
You have gone on TV and said the president did something illegal. You're doing stuff with your brother. The American people have the same questions. Why should they believe you? Why should they believe you? Why should they believe you? There's a different rule for the president. There's a different rule for you. Why should they believe what you're saying, Mr. Chairman? Why? You go on Fox News and say loans and deals are a way to evade taxes. We don't know that's what you're doing or not. We don't know. We have no idea. We're supposed to take your word for it. But when the president says something,
you've already been proven a liar, Mr. Moskowitz.
What's that?
You've already been proven a liar.
Who's proven me a liar? You?
Yes.
Your word means nothing, Mr. Chairman.
Go to my hometown. There's a camera crew there today, an opposition research crew there today.
Mr. Chairman, this seems to have gotten under your skin.
I'll pay for your ticket.
I think the American people have lots of questions, Mr. Chairman, and perhaps you should sit maybe for a deposition.
I will be happy. I will sit with Hunter Biden and Jim Biden, and we can go over our LLC.
That'll be great. I'll make sure the ranking member is happy that you'll sit at a table.
Mr. Chairman.
Our LLCs. Fuck James Comer. He's a piece of shit. Representative Jared Moskowitz from Florida. Fantastic job. And now the one you guys have all been waiting for. I believe everybody is aware of the exchange we're getting ready to watch. I believe this was in the Budget Committee. Because Bernie Sanders is chairing it. Bernie playing referee here. Senator Mark Wayne Mullen apparently used to be a shoot fighter.
Senator Mullen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to get a little factual on what Mr. O'Brien just said about right-to-work states versus forced work states. According to the compensation data report of the U.S. Commerce Department, an average salary for private sector employee in 2019 was $4,000 higher than the average employee.
As he is a union official, the witness, Mr. O'Brien, that Mark Wayne Mullen is going to be, I don't want to call it questioning. I love the distinction, right to work state and forced work state. What's a forced work state? I've never heard that phrase before. And right to work states are like the 10 poorest states in the country, all right to work states. That should tell you everything you need to know.
Work states. According to the compensation data report of the U.S. Commerce Department, an average salary for private sector employee in 2019 was $4,000.
Sorry, this is actually the Senate Health Committee. The Senate Health Committee.
$1,000 higher than the average employee in forced union states, stating that right-to-work states pay more. Now, if we also want to break this down to statistics, which was quoted earlier by Mr. O'Brien, about wage differences, if you talk to the Bureau of Labor Statistics in non-union jobs, their average salaries raised 14.6% compared to 11% wage increase on unionized workers from 2020 to 2023. If you go back to the percentage of union workers, because if unions was working so well, then you'd see an increase in union jobs, not a decrease.
Aren't we seeing an increase in union jobs? They're coming for Toyota. Toyota already giving their workers a raise. Volkswagen, I believe, was giving their workers a raise. They are scared of the UAW.
50 years ago, 33% of our labor force was union. Today, it's 10.1%. If you go back and you start looking at wage earned, if you actually compare comparable wages to ages, not a partisan point, but you go to all wages earned, not just comparing 16 and over to 54 to 64-year-old ages, you'll see that the actual average, according to the Bureau.
What in the fuck did he just say? That sounded like some Scott Steiner math.
You take your 33 and a third chance minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 and a third chance of winning.
One of my clients is the largest union busting organization in the country. I won't say their name. But they talk about forced unionism a lot. And what that means is if you work for a company and their workforce is unionized and you don't want to be in the union, you still have to pay dues. You have to pay the dues if the union is still advocating on your behalf. So that's what they mean by forced unionism.
Bureau of Labor Statistic, that if you subtract the union dues, it's actually higher. Non-union employees are getting paid by roughly 1 to 2%, which is exactly what union dues are, is 1 to 2% of their salary. So I just wanted to set the record straight on that, and that's coming from statistics, all right? Now, let's talk about...
Oh, he's saying all wages. All wages. So all these CEOs making millions of dollars and shit are skewing the numbers, aren't they? Maybe not the CEOs because they're usually paid in stock compensation, but higher level management. Flash, good evening.
Mr. O'Brien himself, his behavior. As everybody knows, and it's here. And the last time, him and I kind of had a back and forth. Appreciate your demeanor today. It's quite different. But after you left here, you got pretty excited about the keyboard. In fact, you tweeted at me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And let me read what the last one said. It said, greedy CEO who pretends like he's self-made. Or I wish he was in the truck with me when I was building my plumbing company myself. And my wife was running the office because I sure remember working pretty hard and long hours. Pretends like he's self-made. What a clown. Fraud. Always has been, always will be. Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
No, stop it.
Is that your solution every
Hold it. No, sit down. Sit down. Okay. You know, you're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay.
Sit down, please.
All right.
Can I respond? Mr.
Hold
Chairman?
it. Hold it. If
Hold
we
on.
can, no, I have the mic.
said.
I'm sorry.
This is
Hold
what
it.
he said.
You'll have your time.
Okay.
Can I respond?
Oh, no, you can't. This is a hearing. And God knows the American people have enough contempt for Congress. Let's not
I don't
make
like
it worse.
thugs and bullies.
You have,
And that's
you
what-
have,
I don't like you because you
Hold
just
it.
described yourself.
hold it. You have the mic.
Yeah.
You have time.
All
Make
right.
your statement.
Then let's do this, because I did challenge you and I accepted your challenge, and you went quiet.
No, I didn't go quiet.
Hold on.
You challenged me to a cage match, acting like a 12-year-old schoolyard bully.
Excuse me. Hold it. No, excuse me. I have the
I
mic.
will say exactly.
Senator Mullen, I have the mic. You have questions on any economic issues, anything that said, go for it. We're not here to talk about physical abuse.
You brought.
We're not
him
talking
in.
about. Of course, I
And,
did.
and let me show you his hearing, because I want to expose this thug to who he is. And
Could you not point at me? That's disrespectful.
All right.
I don't care about respecting you at all. I respect
don't
people that
respect you at all.
respect. So
All right, hold it.
let me
Hold it. No.
You're one of
Hold
100
it.
of the most
Hold
elite
it,
people.
please.
Act it.
Please. All right. This is a. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
This is a hearing to discuss economic issues. All right? If you have questions for Mr. O'Brien or anybody else on what he has said, go for it. But we're not here to talk about fights or anything else.
I'm quoting exactly what he said.
You can
and
say
this
what
is-
you want,
This is
but-
your witness
This
you
is
brought.
my
And let me.
witness.
I'm exposing him.
You can
as a
talk
person
anything you
who he
want.
is. So in
But no fight-
2013,
Nope.
in 2013, O'Brien was suspended by the Teamsters for intimidating your own members. In 2014, you were part of, what would you say, organizing the harassment and intimidation of the Top Shelf crew.
Chef, not chef.
Top
Chef.
And then, and I think in the reports they said sexual, racist, and homophobic slurs and death threats. 14 tires were sliced.
You live in
and 5
sexual
Teamsters
anarchy.
were arrested. And you said, well, I had nothing to do with it. But however, in that same statement, you said, but if I get called to testify, I'll plead the fifth. This is a witness you brought in here. In 2017, you were removed as lead negotiator by then President Hoffa for UPS for your actions. And then in 22, when this guy was elected, what he said after he got elected was he wanted to bring the mob mentality back to the Teamsters. This is your guy.
And you're obviously going to give him a chance to respond to your questions.
Absolutely, absolutely, because this is my question. Because you called me out. I didn't call you out.
Yeah, you did.
You said anytime, any place.
Let's get the record
Okay.
straight.
Miss, hold it. No.
Hold on.
Senator Mullen, do you have a question for the witness?
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear it.
So, anytime, any place.
No, that's
April is a charity event.
No, that's not. No.
Sir, he said it, and this is my
He is
time.
here to
You
set
parameters on what the questions can or cannot be asked, and I'll ask.
No, you're not going to. We're not going to be talking about
yes, we
physical confrontation.
Oh, this is about charity, for a union charity, because this is for firefighters. And
Do you have a question on his testimony?
April.
Grow up. Will you
next
please
You have
grow
a
up? You're an
question
embarrassment.
on his. Let's not be.
You said it.
You're an embarrassment.
You said
You're
it,
an
and I'm just
embarrassment.
simply answering it.
You
Senator
reached
Mullen,
out to
hold it.
everybody.
Hold it. Senator Mullen, you made some charges.
Charges?
Mr. O'Brien, do you want to respond to
Yeah, go ahead,
the question?
please.
Yeah, I mean, look, the reality of it is,
Accept my challenge,
Mr.
tough guy.
Mullen.
Yes, this dude is having as much fun as we are. This guy Also loving this.
Tough guy.
Hold it. Answer the questions.
All right, y'all won. He made a lot of statements, right? And his statements are fiction at best.
Fiction, I read them.
Can you
What?
answer the question, please?
I can't understand him, to be honest with you.
All right.
He rambles so much. What was your question, actually?
You said I made a lot of statements.
No, but what's your question? I don't understand your question. Could you repeat it?
You said anytime, any place.
What's your question?
Accept the challenge.
What challenge?
You said anytime, any place. I'm accepting yours, so why don't you come
What
back?
challenge? What challenge are you talking
April 30th. How about we do it for a charity at the Smoking Guns in Tulsa, Oklahoma?
No, we're not going to be
what was the
talking about
challenge?
physical confrontations here.
You want to fight me?
What'd you say about anytime, any place?
Let's have coffee, discuss our differences.
That's what you said.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
All right, well, let's sit down and have coffee.
Let's do it.
All
right. I'd love to.
It's funny how you're backing out.
I don't back on anything.
You did.
You're the one. You're a 100.
Senator,
should be the most influential people in this country making changes.
Senator
You're
Hassan,
focused on.
Okay.
You're
Thank
focused
you.
on
Why
debate
did you-
that's not even
Why-
relevant. You're an embarrassment. You're an embarrassment.
After
An embarrassment to the state of
This
Oklahoma.
hearing is about the condition of the working class in America.
You
That's
brought
what
a
we're
thug
talking.
into this.
You're the biggest thug here.
You brought him in.
All right,
You're the biggest thug. Even your colleagues call you.
Why you do what you're doing, Senator Hassan?
Thank you very much, Mr.
Senator
Chair.
Hassan.
Maggie Hassan.
Mullen, please yield. I've been recognized by the chair.
Back to corner.
The
now-
microphone is yours.
Senator Maggie Hassan, bring some calm to the room. Be a voice of reason. Smurf, kidney punches, cage fights. Oh, God. This is not the way our government should work. Our government should be incredibly boring. It's good for me as a streamer. Good for me as a streamer that covers the most absurd news, politics, and current events that the internet has to offer. Bad for the United States as a fucking country, let me tell you. Oh, Jesus. Speaking of bad for the country, if former President Trump was to get reelected, come next, if we were doing this show this time next year and Trump was elected, God help us all. But he has some legal obstacles to face before we can get to that point. Georgia prosecutors are actually seeking a protective order after the leak of videos in the Trump case. We're going to watch some of those here in just a second. The request follows publication of confidential video recordings of statements by Jenna Ellis, Sidney Powell, and Ken Cheesebro. Fulton County prosecutors have asked the judge overseeing the 2020 election subversion case against Donald Trump and his co-defendants in Georgia to immediately impose an emergency protective order over the discovery materials to prevent potential future leaks of evidence. The request came after several media outlets published details of videotaped statements that former Trump lawyers Jenna Ellis, Sidney Powell, and Kenneth Cheesebro gave us. I wish my name was Cheesebro. Is it too late to change? Can I be Justin Cheesebro? Will they let me back on Twitch then if I'm no longer JustinFREAKIN? The Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis previously asked for a protective order for the discovery materials in the case, but citing the leak of several of the proffer interviews, Willis renewed the request on Tuesday to Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee. The release of these confidential video recordings is clearly intended to intimidate witnesses, subjecting them to harassment and threats prior to trial. Constituents' indirect communications about the facts of this case with co-defendants and witnesses. Trump has pleaded not guilty to the charges that he and 18 co-defendants engaged in racketeering activity and conspired to overturn the results of the 2020 election in the state of Georgia. To date, 3 of Trump's ex-lawyers and a local Republican operative have taken plea deals. And that's who we're going to hear from right now. At least 2 of them, Sidney Powell and Jenna Ellis. I know they are featured in this video. Maybe Maybe we get a comment from Cheese Bro as well.
For the first time, our investigative team obtaining some of the videotaped interviews with two former Trump attorneys charged in Georgia's election interference case. What they told prosecutors in exchange for their plea deals. Attorney Jenna Ellis saying that she was told Donald Trump, the boss as they called him, would not leave the White House under any circumstances. Trump's lawyers responding tonight, and here's ABC senior investigative reporter Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, ABC News.
Now we know from the reporting at the time, contemporary here on the Troll Patrol, we were covering it. The Secret Service apparently had a plan to evict him if he didn't actually leave the White House.
Has obtained excerpts of confidential videotaped interviews of two alleged co-conspirators charged along with former President Trump in Georgia. The two attorneys in these videos have now turned and are cooperating with authorities. Sidney Powell, who once claimed a dead Hugo Chavez was one of the reasons behind Trump's loss, and Jenna Ellis cut plea deals on reduced charges in exchange for their cooperation, giving interviews to prosecutors.
We're here with a proffer with Ms. Jenna Ellis.
Ellis, who falsely claimed ballots were manipulated, recounting a time at the 2020 White House Christmas party when she said Trump aide Dan Scavino told her Trump planned to simply refuse to leave the White House.
He said to me in a kind of excited tone, well, we don't care and we're not going to leave.
Ellis said she asked him, what do you mean?
He said the boss is not going to leave under any circumstances. We are just going to stay in power. And I said to him, well, it doesn't quite work that way, you realize. And he said, we don't care.
Scavino did not respond to requests for comment, and an attorney for Trump called the purported conversation meaningless since he did ultimately leave the White House. Sidney Powell also told prosecutors Trump was determined to stay in power, despite his aides repeatedly telling him he lost.
What was President Trump's reaction when, I guess, this cut?
That's just a weird thing. Like, it doesn't matter that I tried to rob the bank because I didn't actually get away with it. That's what he's saying. That's a horrible defense.
Reaction when, I guess, this cadre of advisors would say you lost.
It was like, well, they would say that and then they'd walk out and he'd go, see, this is what I deal with all the time.
Trump has pleaded not guilty and denied wrongdoing. After Powell's guilty plea, they both denied she was his lawyer. But Powell told prosecutors Trump knew she was one of the few willing to support him.
I was the most experienced federal practitioner in the group. Did I know anything about election law? No.
Powell pushed that outrageous conspiracy theory that voting machines were controlled by Venezuela, even pointing a finger at former dictator Hugo Chavez, who died nearly a decade earlier.
Who's dead? Exported from Venezuela and by Maduro and by Mr. Chavez. This is the consummate foreign interference in our election.
She told prosecutors Trump weighed a plan to seize voting machines in multiple states, despite no evidence of ballot fraud.
That would have allowed the machines to be secured in 4 or 5 states or cities and see about doing a bipartisan or military or whatever everybody agreed on review of the machines.
Sources told ABC News a number of former President Trump's co-defendants in the case have previously been offered plea deals. Any cooperator, David, could be called to testify once this racketeering case goes to trial. David?
All right, Aaron Katursky, Olivia Rubin, and our entire investigative team, my thanks to you all.
Shut up, David. I'm amazed. I'm amazed at the state of politics in this fucking country. I really am. And the fact that this woman might be a senator come this time next year, senator-elect. Carrie Lake confronted over Donald Trump and election denial. Carrie Lake was grilled by Republican political consultant and former Jeb Bush Jeb! Please clap. Communications Director Tim Miller about her election denialism and her support for debunked claims that the 2020 presidential election was rigged and stolen from Donald Trump. Lake, who ran in the PB Girl, it's a 3-way race. That's the problem. Maybe a 4-way race with a libertarian in the race. So Sinema is going to be running a good night, Sky Comet. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. So yes, it's going to be Democrat Ruben Gallego I might be saying it wrong. And incumbent Kristen Sinema, along with Carrie Lake and possibly a Libertarian challenger. We had a Libertarian challenger in 2022 for astronaut seat. Fucking why is this Mark something or why is his name escaping me right now? Gabby Gifford's husband, Mark. Senator Mark. I give up. Brain fart. Gabby Gifford's husband, that works for me. Miller, who since 2016 has been an outspoken critic of the former president, Gallo. There we go. A former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, who was shot in the head by a far right. Mark Kelly, thank you, mitochondria. Phew. Getting old, folks. Miller, who has since 2016 has been an outspoken critic of the former president, was interviewing Lake for The Circus, a show airing on Showtime next week. Lake shared a video of it on social media on Sunday. We're going to go to... This is Carrie Lake apparently had her own camera at the event. So you are seeing apparently Carrie Lake's communications people recording what is set to air on Sunday on The Circus.
Hello, we meet again. How are you?
We got cut short last time. Why was that?
I think
You're
there were
mad
so
about
many.
something.
No, I wasn't mad.
No?
No.
Oh, you walked off. Thought you weren't happy.
No, I had places to be. We were at CPAC.
We were at CPAC.
Not Liberal PAC. We were at CPAC.
We were at
which is about
CPAC.
Saving America.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good.
I'm happy to be here.
Are you better off right now than you were 4 years ago financially?
So much.
You are.
So much, yeah. How about you?
Did Showtime give you...
I guess you quit your job, so probably not.
Did Showtime give you $1,800 a month raise?
No.
Because that's what it takes right now to survive in Joe Biden's
I'm a grinder. I have a lot of jobs. You're going to see the former president tomorrow, right?
Yes,
Donald Trump.
I am.
You're going to go speak at the rally?
I'm going to be there, and we're having a spin room,
Yeah.
and I'm going to be speaking to the media.
Okay,
So I'm going to
got
talk
it.
about, as a mom who is really worried about my children's future, I'm going to talk about how we can make this better, because
Yeah.
we are on cruise control heading off a cliff right now. And I think I'm not alone in worrying about my children's future. And so I'm going to go talk to the media about how we can turn this around. And I'm looking forward to getting us back on track when it comes to a secure border, an economy that we're not struggling to get buy-in. Actually, a policy when it comes to foreign policy and national security that makes sense for Americans and keeps us safe.
Yes, you're contrasting with Biden. What about the other Republicans? The primary is over as far as you're concerned? What do you think about the rest
You know
of them?
what? You've seen, you're political. You've seen the polling. What do you think?
Seems like it's over to me, but what about, why not you? And you could have been for DeSantis, you could have been for Nikki Haley. Like, what's your assessment? Nobody's voted yet.
We already have a man who's done the job and done it well. We have a man who, when President Trump was in office, everybody, me, you, doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter whether you're a Democrat, Independent, or Republican, was doing better. Financially, we were safer.
It still blows my mind that they love to say that shit. We were safer. Donald Trump didn't start any new wars, as if the war in Ukraine, as if the war in Israel aren't directly related to Trump policy. These things don't happen overnight. Joe Biden didn't just take office and Putin decided to invade Ukraine. Economic policy. Trump was riding the wave of Obama's good economy. By the time we hit 2015, 2016, it's not what it could be if we'd had a true progressive in there. Believe me, I know. I've felt it myself. But the economy was doing a lot better than it has under any Republican president. So Trump just rode the wave of GDP growth under Obama, and it was less under Trump, by the way. And they love to point to gas price. Like, gas was the cheapest it's been since I was paying like 89 cents when I first started driving under Obama. It was like $1.26 in January of 2016. because domestic production had increased. Also a result of Obama policies. So, like, I hate that they like to act like, oh, yeah, things were so good under Trump. Fuck all the way off. It doesn't happen in a vacuum.
Our streets were safer. We've got a situation right now where people are, they're afraid to walk across the grocery store parking lot, and then they get in the grocery store and they're afraid when they get the bottom line and they go, wait a minute, I can't even afford my groceries anymore. Maybe you're making great money.
I don't know. I don't think any of that. I don't think any of that is happening. But that's not.
It is.
That's the point.
If you are making great money and you can afford gas and groceries, I applaud you. Good for you.
I do think.
But
Carrie, you can.
Right now, Tim, they're really, really struggling.
Okay. But I don't think Donald Trump really cares about any of that. All he talks about, you're talking about that. That's something that all he is talking about is retribution against Jack Smith and how Letitia James is racist and relitigating the 2020 election. He's not talking about regular people's concerns.
He's talking about a lot of people's concerns. Unfortunately,
he's not.
Not be listening to it. Have you?
I read his Truth Social feed, and it's just like racist Letitia James and Ron DeSantis is falling like a bird, and he's sanctimonious.
Have you listened to any of his speeches?
Yes.
I listen to him. Yeah. He weaves it in.
You know, for me, I'm really concerned about my children. I'm in this. I have a 19-year-old and 20-year-old. I don't think they're going to have a better life than I was able to have.
That's because they're Republicans.
I had to struggle coming.
This is very different than when we last talked. Why have you changed your tune so much?
I haven't changed my tune at all.
Well, yeah, I mean, you were talking a lot about election fraud, and you were talking a lot about.
I'm still concerned about that, Tim.
When I first saw you in Van, and
I'm still concerned about that.
Right before your election,
are you not concerned?
Vaccine conspiracies and election fraud.
Really?
That's what you were talking about last time.
And I'm still talking about it. Yeah. Are you not concerned when people have to wait in line for 4 hours to vote, when 60% of the polling locations have equipment that doesn't work? I wouldn't want that for liberals and Democrats. I don't want it for Republicans. Vaccines, I feel that people should be able to make that choice on their own, and their employer should have nothing to do with it.
Do you think that maybe had you been focused, this is, I guess, my question, right? So Trump loses in 2020, you lose in 2022. And yet both of you have cleared the field. Like, what does it say about the Republican Party? Is it just that like, really all
losers
cares about now is who is going to be loyal to Trump fealty, right? Like that's what matters, right? Like, you've cleared the field. No one's even challenging it.
I care about our country. I care about my children's future.
Yeah.
I'm very concerned about the future of our country. And I think a lot of Americans are. Independents, even Democrats are saying, wait a minute, this is not what we signed up for. They might have voted for Joe Biden, but they're now looking at it and going, whoa, I voted for him, and my life has gotten worse.
That. But do you think it's interesting, right? Like, Arizona had elected a lot of Republicans. Doug Ducey was governor, John McCain, Jeff Flake, like all those people won in Arizona. You lost. You would think that the party might want to go back to that and like try that again, but that's not what's happening, right? It's all MAGA. It's ultra MAGA. They're like, they want Trump, they want you.
The Republican Party is no longer the party of warmongers. The Republican Party does not want to be the party that starts endless wars. The Republican Party is the party of an economy that works for all people, whether they are middle class, upper class, professionals, billionaires, or people who are just experiencing the American dream. That's what the Republican Party is right now. The Republican Party is about energy independence so that we're not stuck at the teat of the Middle East telling us, hey, we're going to shut off the spigots and you're not going to be able to afford gas.
So it's not the party of warmongers, so who are you talking about? It's not the party of McCain, Bush, Haley? It's not the party of
Cheney. Let's give that.
Not the party of Cheney.
Let's throw that out.
Well, clearly, she got crushed.
Yeah.
Do you still have the full support? Do you still fully support Steve Bannon given all the things that you said to us?
What was that?
You still?
And are you?
Does Steve Bannon still
interrupted the interview.
I'm on the. I'm
sorry.
on the show.
What's your name?
John Hallman. Hey, good to see you.
Nice to meet you.
We just had this interview with Steve Bannon. He said all kinds of stuff. You probably haven't gotten the word yet. Does he still have your full support?
I think so. Steve, are you with me?
1,000%.
1,000%. Wait a minute.
Well, it's one of my favorite questions on a road line to a politician.
He did tell us that you were on the VP shortlist, though. Do you feel like you're on the VP shortlist?
You know what? This is Steve. Pardon me, but Steve and both of you, this is a creation of the media. I will tell you this. I'm a fed up mom, okay? And there's
a creation of the media. Remember what she did for a living. She was a news anchor.
tens of millions of moms just like me. I'm not worried about who Trump picks for a VP. He's going to pick someone great. Frankly, if there's any president who doesn't need a VP, it's him. Yeah. But let me tell you this.
It's like a dictator kind of situation where you would need a VP.
I will tell you, yeah, that's really funny. This is called the circus, right? We got Bozo and Bozo's friend. But let me tell you, Trump doesn't, I don't care who Trump picks as his VP. What I care about is that the people in Arizona have a secure border, that we don't have fentanyl pouring across our...
I just want to point out, both of these guys are Republicans, or were Republicans, both Republican strategists. Heilman was a Republican strategist, if I remember correctly.
Country, have you ever talked to a mother? Yes. Have you ever talked to a mother who's lost a son or daughter to fentanyl poisoning? You wouldn't be acting cocky like this, okay? And you wouldn't either. Have you ever talked to...
Wait, listen, we haven't had a substantive engagement with you about anything.
Yeah, he worked for McCain.
I made a joke about Steve Bannon. That's all I've done in this interview. Don't give me some fentanyl thing about you're trying to make me feel bad.
It is a fentanyl thing to you, but when you've lost a child...
It is you using something to try to make me feel bad, like I'm not taking me seriously. We haven't been doing an interview. I came in here just to make
I did an interview with you, I believe. I believe we did an interview once before at an event we held in Scottsdale.
I don't believe that's true.
We do, and I'm happy...
Maybe I was wrong. It was Halperin who worked with McCain.
I remember your look, and I remember that we did an interview.
You said in the primary that you won because we outvoted.
What's your name, real quick?
John Heilman.
And which organization?
This is we're watching Carrie Lake. Carrie Lake's crew filmed this, so all the other cameras you're seeing were for the show. The show is going to air on Sunday, but Carrie Lake already dumped this interview out.
Or with the circus from Showtime.
Okay.
I believe I asked a question of you about voting machines in your race, but I just want to ask you this.
So we did do an interview. Are you admitting we did an interview?
I was in a gaggle. It's not really an interview. If I'm standing with 20 other reporters and I yell out a question, it's not an interview. But let's not focus on that. Let's ask you a substantive question about something Steve said in our interview. He said that anybody in the Republican Party who doesn't believe. He said that anybody in the Republican Party who doesn't believe that Donald Trump won the election in 2020 is no longer welcome in the party and in the movement. Is that your position?
Do you believe Joe Biden won 81 million votes?
You're not answering my question.
I'm asking you.
You're not answering my question. Do you think that anybody in the Republican Party...
Don't lie.
Yeah.
Not in Republican. I said to elected office. You can be part of the movement.
Thank you. We've got a fact checker over there.
I think, Steve, you actually said anybody who's welcome in the MAGA movement who doesn't believe Donald Trump.
You know what? Listen. Is it Jay, or John?
It's John. And I just would like to know whether you believe, whether you think that's the case or not.
I like people who have a grip on reality. And do you know that Joe Biden ran for president like a million times?
You're not going to answer the question, are you?
No. Anybody?
Do you agree with
yes,
Steve Bannon?
I agree with Steve Bannon. Anyone who thinks Joe Biden won 81 million votes does not have a grip on reality.
That's not what I asked.
You don't have a grip on reality, man.
Anyone who says who doesn't say that Donald Trump won the election in 2020. Yeah. That was the question. The question wasn't 81 million votes.
No.
Steve, so the question is, do you agree with Steve that anyone who doesn't agree that Donald Trump won the 2020 election should not be part of the MAGA movement, the Republican Party?
Anybody who believes, let's look at the 2020 election. Anybody who believes Joe Biden won 81 million votes, I don't think understands what's going on.
The 81 million votes thing. The 81 million votes, so if he won,
but that's what the count was,
if he won 80.9 million votes.
Anybody who believes Joe Biden won 80.9 votes doesn't understand.
Anyone who thinks that Joe Biden is the legitimately elected president of the United States right now doesn't belong in the Republican Party.
Well, yes? I believe Joe Biden's sitting in the White House. Yes. I don't know that he knows he's there, but he's sitting in the White House.
Oh, that's so. So let me ask you.
Jay, let me tell you.
My name's not Jay, but I'm just asking.
My name's not Jay.
I'm asking, I can't get an answer to. Is it the case that you believe that anybody who believes Joe Biden is the legitimately elected president of the United States right now is not welcome in the Republican Party?
Obviously, any Republican who thinks Joe Biden is obviously he's sitting in the White House. Yes.
Is the legitimately elected president of the United States? I'll say it again.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. I'm trying to get you to answer the question. Don't do this.
Let's work through this.
Man, you're not answering a question. I'm asking you a very simple, straightforward, factual question, and you're just a refusing to address it. I'm not name's not Jay. My name's not Jay.
Jay.
And I will say again.
What do you need to hear to feel okay with this?
I'm done. What I need you to do is you answer the fucking question. When you're asked a direct question, just answer the question. It's a simple factual question. Steve asked it, answered it. You can't answer it. You don't want to answer it?
I agree with. I agree. No.
Answer the question.
May I, without you interrupting?
Yes, I love you.
And
you could actually answer the question.
Did you say you love me?
It would be amazing. I said I would love you. I would love it.
Oh, I thought you said you love me.
Nah,
because you know what? You know what, John?
Go right ahead.
It's John, right? I don't
think he loves you, ma'am. I think he'd like to give you a titty slap right now.
A titty slap!
Come on now.
I don't hate you, and Tim, I don't hate you. But I love this country, and I know that we politically are on opposite sides, obviously.
Not really.
But I'm answering it, John. Anybody who believes that Joe Biden won 80.9 million votes has not looked at the evidence. And so
I want to let you get out there and talk. I do have one follow-up on this, though, because I think this is true. This is tedious, right?
Listen.
This is tedious, right?
I want to say something to John because John walked off, and I hate that a journalist walks off.
After 8 times.
He's not really a journalist.
That question, you won't answer it. I'm done.
I did answer it.
You didn't. You still haven't answered it.
John, I know that. Are we close to the same age? I think we're probably both middle-aged. I don't want to insult you if you're not. Okay. We grew up understanding what the Constitution was, okay? My dad was a history teacher, taught the U.S. government. He taught government and history. And our Constitution is hanging by a thread right now. I want you to have your First Amendment right. I want you to have your First Amendment right. But we're watching as our government has held truth squads and misinformation commissions to stop us. If you're unaware of it, I'm sorry, the mainstream media is not covering.
I know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
I'm not okay with that. I want you to be able to talk whatever you guys say on the circus.
Remember when we watched the senator that got upset about somebody tweeting about him, printed out the tweets, and threatened to fight the dude?
I want to be able to have conservative students not being shamed on our university.
They should be shamed.
Speech. It's the best time ever. If you're a conservative student, you want to talk, you have huge platforms.
Yep.
I went to watch you speak at Turning Point USA. All these kids have huge audiences that come to see them, and that's great. That's fine. They're all speaking. Their speech isn't under threat. There weren't any cops coming to shut down the Turning Point USA thing. But here's the thing.
Now, what she's talking about is like people like me in my philosophy classes in college were really antagonistic towards right-wingers. Rightfully so, because their ideas don't hold up under scrutiny. Just throwing that out there. I hope I made some right-wingers feel like they couldn't fucking speak up in class, because they said the dumbest fucking shit.
You say you care about the fentanyl crisis and our kids.
I care deeply.
Okay, right. So if you care so deeply about this, couldn't you actually do something about it if you stopped the bullshit about the last election? If you had just acknowledged that Trump had lost and acknowledged that you had lost, you'd probably be in good shape to do something. You probably would have won your governor's race had you just talked about things people cared about instead of the election fraud. So sometimes don't you ever think to yourself, I wish I could just stop talking about this fake thing that Donald Trump made me make up so that I could actually talk about the stuff that's important? Because we agree about fentanyl. I agree. I wish we could deal with that.
I talked about that all the time at the campaign trail. I'm sorry you weren't with me. I'm sorry.
It is kind of hard to watch.
People of Arizona understand me, and they know me, and they care about me, and I care about them. And I care about them. And I care deeply about any mother.
Quesadilla, good evening.
Lost somebody from fentanyl poisoning. It is tragic. We're losing, and I don't know how old you are. I told you once before I thought you dressed like you were 13. I was joking.
50 earlier. That hurt my feelings. That hurt my feelings.
We're losing, to be serious, we are losing a young generation. I'm not okay with that. I don't know what these young people would have grown up to be. They might have grown up. They might have grown up to work with you and John on the circus. They might have grown up to watch Steve Bannon. But we're missing out. We're missing out.
What about all the kids that have died because of mass shooting USA? What about all the kids that could have been something but were shot when they were in their schools? How about that, Carrie?
On those lives, and we don't know what they would have accomplished. I want to bring people together. I always have. And I reject any notion that you think I'm extreme or right-wing. I am about bringing America together, period. My children, their lives, their future is at stake right now. And so I'm going to work really hard the next year. We're going to win a U.S. Senate seat, and we're going to get busy on securing our border, making sure that our streets are safe, taking people who are chronically homeless on the streets, getting them better, freeing the people who are held political prisoners. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I think you are still a little extreme. That's okay, though. It's good to see you again.
It's wonderful to see you. That's right. I'd love to.
We have some areas of agreement.
Love to.
We agree on the fentanyl thing. And then you get into the other stuff.
Oh,
but the other
sorry,
stuff is what you have to do. The other
I'm
stuff is what
sorry
you have
I'm
to
not
do to
making
win.
you happy.
The other stuff is what I don't know why you're touching me. The other stuff is what you have to do to win.
Sorry, I'm a mom. I'm sorry, I'm a mom.
That's okay. I like to touch too, but you know, in an interview setting, it's a little uncomfortable.
I'm sorry that we don't agree on everything, but what I am not sorry about is that I think that I do believe that we can agree that we both love America.
We do. Well,
I don't think you do.
I do think that you were okay with Donald Trump trying to end the American experiment last time, so that makes me wonder how sincere your love is. But I do appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Good. Thank you for your time. No, I thought it's not going to make it on anyway, but that's fine.
Yeah. Also, you look at.
You did intimidate me into changing.
You said he was a 50-year-old man in his 50s who dressed like he was 13.
13.
Look how he's all.
I'm
just like I'm 19 and a half now.
I'm curious. I'm curious about the pearl necklace.
Yeah, I like it. What do you think?
I don't know.
The pearl necklace.
I prefer stronger men. I prefer stronger men.
You live in
Thank you, guys.
sexual anarchy.
Bye, guys. I know the cameramen are actually conservatives, and you really literally can't stand what you have to record every day. Because I'll tell you this right now. The cameramen are usually independent operators.
Amen.
And you're entrepreneurs. And you know that some of the stuff you guys have to record is just nonsense. So
As someone who has been in the broadcasting business for 20 fucking years, I don't know if any of us, I don't know if I've ever encountered a cameraman that was conservative. I will tell you that a lot of the reporters that you will see tend to lean more conservative, or definitely more institutionalist. Most weather people are pretty right wing. The production staff, we're all fucking raging hippies. I assure you, ma'am. Do not speak for them.
I am with you. And the American people are with you. We want you to be doing better. We want the middle class to be doing better. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. And I know you're shaking your head. Like, yes.
Thanks, you guys.
They were laughing at you. I was looking at the camera people. They were laughing at how fucking stupid you were. God damn. All right, let's keep sparring, shall we? It's been a very confrontational troll patrol. David Axelrod, who was I think he was Obama's campaign manager. He was definitely an advisor to Obama while he was in the White House. He wrote an op-ed about Joe Biden's chances and how somebody else needs to step up. This apparently evoked a response from the White House, a leak that Joe Biden actually called Axelrod a prick. Axelrod responded to this on CNN the other day.
Oh, I got to ask you, Jonathan Martin reported in Politico today that the president called you a word that because we are live in London, I am not allowed to say on television.
Prick.
But it starts with a P and ends with K. Your response?
Yeah. Well, he wouldn't be the first, I guess, in my many years in politics. Listen, I understand he was irritated because I raised concerns that many, many Democrats had. And again, you know, my feeling is either get out or get going. And but the status quo, the way they were approaching the campaign, this sort of what me worry attitude about the campaign was not going to get him to where he needs to go. And the stakes are so high, Casey. This isn't, you know, Mitt Romney or John McCain or anybody else on the other side. But this Donald Trump, it's a fundamental question as to what American democracy is going to look like the day after the next election. So the stakes are very high. He knows that. But I think he needed to take a sober look at the whole landscape. And yes, he's committed to moving forward. I get that. he ought to then look at what his campaign is doing and what they need to do and get out of this sort of referendum frame and go after Donald Trump every day, because Donald Trump will be the nominee of the Republican Party. That may be uncomfortable for the president, but I will tell you, a whole lot of people got in touch with me after that, after I made my feelings known, to say, I'm glad someone said it. And if the end result of it is that they take a good hard look at their campaign and get it and sort of turbocharge it and turn it into a comparative race now, then I'm glad that I said it, and I'll live with the fact that the president's unhappy with me.
The scuttlebutt is that he is part of J.D. Pritzker's camp. Pritzker eyeing the presidency probably in 2028. Probably in 2028. I'm going to skip this one. This was one that I had for last night. Let's skip it. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. The Freedom Cock pushing to impeach him. Marjorie Taylor Greene behind the push. 8 Republicans joined with all the Democrats to kill the resolution to move forward with impeachment of Mayorkas. So, dead in the water. Marjorie Taylor Greene is very upset. Supreme Court has announced that it is adopting a written code of ethics. The move followed waves of criticism over reports about undisclosed gifts and travel received by some members of the High Court. The 14-page code of conduct was written to dispel the misunderstanding that the court's 9 justices regard themselves as unrestricted by any ethics rule, the court said in a statement. The document's apparent lack of any enforcement mechanism may do little to satisfy critics, you damn right, who say that the powerful justices must be held accountable for their alleged ethical lapses. Scrutiny on the court ramped up earlier this year after ProPublica reported that Justice Clarence Thomas had accepted luxury trips from Republican mega donor Harlan Crow for years without reporting them on his annual financial disclosures. Other financial ties between the conservative justice were later reported, including that Crow bought the Georgia property where Thomas's mother still lives rent-free. Thomas has said he was advised by lawyers that he did not have to include the travel expenses on his disclosures. ProPublica later reported that Justice Samuel Alito had failed to disclose a luxury Alaskan fishing trip with billionaire Paul Singer, whose hedge fund had business before the court. The self-issued code covers 5 canons of conduct, directing each justice to uphold the integrity and independence of the judiciary, avoid impropriety and the appearance of impropriety in all activities, fairly and impartially and diligently perform their duties, engage in outside activities consistent with the obligations of the office, and refrain from political activity. In releasing the code, the justices sought to downplay its significance, writing in a statement that it largely represents a codification of principles that we have long regarded as governing our conduct. I believe that pressure to come out with this code is trying to skirt an investigation that is currently ongoing. The D.C. Attorney General hits back at Jim Jordan, James Comer, and Leonard Leo. The investigation centers on whether the conservative judicial activist abused laws governing nonprofits. D.C. Attorney General Brian Schwab won't share with Congress information about his investigation into whether judicial activist Leonard Leo abused nonprofit tax laws. This is according to a letter released on Monday. Leo presides over a multi-billion-dollar network of tax-exempt nonprofit groups and used it in part to organize campaigns over the past decade to install the Supreme Court's conservative majority. The question at issue is the transfer of tens of millions of dollars collected by one of his aligned nonprofit organizations to his for-profit entity. On October 30th, GOP reps Jim Jordan and James Comer, chairs of the House Judiciary and Oversight Committee. I'm sorry, I think I called Comer the Judiciary Chair. That's Jim Jordan. Comer is the Oversight Committee Chair. They demanded all the materials from Schwab related to Leo. In his letter, Schwab rejected both the request and its premise that any probe might be politically motivated. Contrary to your letter's suggestion, the office is committed to the impartial pursuit of justice without regard to political affiliation or motivation and without fear or favor. The latest attempt by Leo allies to throw sand in the gears of Schwab's investigation. Though in keeping with law enforcement protocol, Schwab still has not confirmed or denied its existence. Whether the probe uncovers wrongdoing is significant given the sheer scale of Leo's work. He is also the beneficiary of a $1.6 billion contribution believed to be the biggest political donation in U.S. history. Jordan Comer had claimed it appears Schwab does not have jurisdiction to investigate nonprofits and other entities that were incorporated outside of Washington, D.C. I'm concerned that your letter may misapprehend jurisdiction over nonprofit organizations operating in the district, Schwab said. No corporation, whether for-profit or not-for-profit, is exempt from the laws of a jurisdiction in which it chooses to be present and do business. Leo's attorney previously told Politico his client is not cooperating with Schwab's investigation. I feel like the timing of those two things aren't coincidental. That's just me, though. I don't know. What do I know about politics? Let's move on from politics, shall we? Let's do some criminal justice. Cop involved in the raid that ended up killing Breonna Taylor in 2020, currently on trial for violating Taylor's civil rights. The defense rests its case on Friday. The jury is on its third day of deliberations. Still no verdict.
No verdict and no more deliberation tonight by the federal jury after a full day deliberating former LMPD Detective Brett Hankison's actions. This is Wave News at 6. I'm John Ball.
And I'm Myra Ansari. Jurors have gone home for the night, but they asked an important, complicated question this afternoon. Wave News reporter Mark Stevens has been following this trial. Mark, the jurors asked about how to view unreasonable force.
Yeah, Hankison is charged with 2 counts of civil rights violations that both rely on the jury determining whether his force was considered unreasonable. Now, that's a legal term. And the question they asked this afternoon was whether the law allows them to separate the level of force that Hankison used from how he used it. Now, the judge discussed with the attorneys very briefly and sent back a simple answer to the jury.
I just don't understand, reasonable. He killed an innocent woman. In what world is that considered reasonable? It blows my fucking mind.
The judge discussed with the attorneys very briefly and sent back a simple answer to the jury. Reread the 40 pages of instructions that they have with them in their deliberation room. Maybe not a satisfying answer, but the jurors can only consider what they heard in court and look at the evidence that they were given. Now, Hankison's lawyers told the jury he was trying to save his fellow officers by shooting through the covered windows at what he thought was a person armed with an AR rifle. They say he acted like any regular officer would to save fellow officers' lives. The government says absolutely not. That Hankison's actions not only violated LMPD policy by shooting at something he couldn't see, but actually violated the constitutional rights of Breonna Taylor, her boyfriend, and the 3 people living next door. Now, a state jury acquitted Hankison of much lesser charges after 3 hours in a trial last year. This federal jury has already taken far longer and will resume deliberating again tomorrow. Live outside the federal courthouse, Mark Stevens, Wave News.
Thanks, Mark. Now,
I don't know what that was, but we're going to watch it.
A plane and a car collide on a McKinney road.
I saw the airplane coming down the runway quickly, knew that he wasn't going to have time to stop, and it was clearly going too fast. The tires were smoking.
Jack Schneider was working nearby and captured this video of the crash.
So I quickly pulled out my phone because I could tell something was about to happen, and I watched him go across the ditch, across the fence, through the fence, onto the road, onto the other road, and then of course the car and the airplane met.
The McKinney Fire Department rushed to the scene on eastbound Virginia Parkway around 12:30 Saturday afternoon. Those nearby watched in disbelief.
Usually when you drive, you check your left, you check your right, you don't check up. Yeah, it was crazy. He was trying to land and the brakes didn't work.
First responders checked out the 2 people inside the plane that traveled in from Midland, as well as the driver of this vehicle. She was taken to the hospital for minor injuries.
She was definitely a surprise.
Both of them were lucky.
Not something you expect to have happen to you.
Witnesses who spoke with the pilot said it was his first time landing at Aero Airport, and that he claimed the aircraft's reverse thrust, which slows the plane down, wasn't working.
It was still completely surreal. I wasn't expecting it, obviously. Everybody's okay though, so we're all thankful that nobody was hurt.
Well, sorry to interrupt my my ACAB block. We were in the middle of my ACAB block, but I saw that video. I had to watch it.
The former police chief of Rising Sun, Indiana, now facing 17 felony charges.
Yeah, Harless Hoover Jr. accused of golfing while on duty and not paying back tens of thousands of dollars, too. WLWT News 5's Rachel Hersheimer now inside the courtroom today. Joins us live with what happened out there. Rachel.
Well, Mike and Trey, Harless Stephen Hoover Jr. turned his badge in for an orange jumpsuit. When he came into court today, he didn't show a lot of emotion at all, except for turning behind him to glance at his family. He was placed on paid leave while Indiana State Police began their investigation back in July. A man had reported Hoover borrowed $10,000 from him in December of 2021, but never repaid him. Investigators say Hoover took tens of thousands of dollars for everything from car sales to a new HVAC system. Court documents also state.
Who just loans a guy $20,000? Can I borrow some money? Anybody got fucking $20,000 I can borrow? What the fuck? You loan a guy like $100, maybe. You don't loan a guy $20,000. A significant chunk of change.
He claimed to be working in Ohio County when he was in Indianapolis, or in one case on the golf course. The judge read all 17 counts to Hoover today in court. His defense attorney told me outside the courtroom his client is presumed innocent until proven guilty. We also spoke with the prosecutor after the hearing.
He was an officer. He filed in numerous cases, and when you start hearing about these allegations coming forward against him, and there are numerous allegations, it's concerning. And unfortunately, when you have one officer who allegedly does things like this, it definitely darkens everybody else. I mean, he was a public servant.
And bond was set at...
Well, to be fair, Ms. Prosecutor, at least that's all he did. He didn't fucking, beat the life out of somebody in their house. He didn't fucking plant toy guns on children that he shot. Of all the things I've heard a cop be accused of here on this very program, at least he didn't harm another person. Fuck him still.
$10,000 cash and $25,000 surety. The judge also said Hoover needs to turn in all of his firearms as well as his police uniform. There are also 2 no contact orders, and his next court date is scheduled for December 16th. Live tonight in Dearborn County, Rachel Hersheimer, WLWT News 5.
All right, Rachel, thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. I'm going to tell you to shut up. This is another one that I had for last night. How do I even make this fucking big? What the hell? A man apparently stole a game camera. It was out in a wooded area. It was meant to photograph wildlife. Dude steals the camera, doesn't realize it's still transmitting images.
Well, police in Live Oak are looking for a man they say stole a city-installed camera. Their job made it a little bit easier, though, when they discovered that camera was still sending photos. So the department shared these online photos showing the suspect inside of his home. He was apparently unaware that the camera was still taking pictures and then sending them back to officials. Police are asking for the public's help in finding that gentleman right there.
Don't narc on him, but he has been arrested. Oh, we don't have an update. We don't have a name or anything. He has been arrested. He is now in custody. Gotta love that picture of him. Have you guys seen the Tom York meme? Is it not Tom? I've always thought that was a Tom York picture. Maybe, once again, it might be my face blindness. Maybe that's not actually Tom York in that meme. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I always thought it was like Tom York on like a tour bus in the late 90s or something. Somebody snapped a picture of him and he's making like that fucking face. Yeah, I don't know what the name of the I don't know my meme on that one. I don't know what the name of it is. Oh shit. Maybe I made it up. maybe this is one of those what do they call it? Like the Bernstein Bears or some shit. It can't be one person that did that. Mandela effect. But it has to be like a group of people remembering something. I'm gonna try to find that meme. I swear it exists. But maybe it's not actually Tom York. Tom York, the lead singer of Radiohead. Anyway, the mom who was carjacked is suing Volkswagen.
A suburban mom attacked in her Libertyville driveway in February is talking for the first time about the terrifying moments when thieves got away with her car and her 2-year-old in the back seat.
CBS 2's Chris Ty spoke with a woman today about the lawsuit she's now filing against her car manufacturer. Chris.
That's right, Jim and Marie. Taylor Shepard, fresh from the pet store, had brought her dogs and her 7-year-old into the house. She was going back to get her 2-year-old from the car when someone stormed up her driveway in a white BMW, this one. They attacked her, ran her over, and took the car with the 2-year-old Isaiah inside. She called 911, convinced they wanted her little boy, but when police called Volkswagen Corp to utilize the GPS tracker in the car, they were told Taylor's free trial had expired and $150
oh, wow.
help.
So I didn't even think that would be an issue, that Volkswagen would refuse to tell us where our son was, especially when it's a kidnapping and every second matters. It's life or death that we're going to get him home.
In the days after the incident, VW issued this statement, quote, "Unfortunately, in this instance, there was a serious breach of the process. We are addressing the situation with the parties involved." Now, eventually, someone paid the $150, but by then the child was found about 15 miles away, walking near a highway up in Waukegan. The family car was also found shortly after that. 1 month after the incident, VW offered free GPS tracking for all new cars for 5 years, but the company never reached out to Taylor or her family. The lawsuit stands. Live in the news,
wow.
CBS 2 News.
Chris, thanks.
I mean, what do you expect from a Nazi company like VW, right? This is the picture I was referring to. Apparently, like, he wasn't startled awake. He had like a lemon or something. I don't know. But that could be a meme. It is Tom York from Radiohead, right? Maybe it's not. Maybe maybe I just think all white people look alike. Deserve a titty slap.
A titty slap!
Come on now.
Oh. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I'm tired of bummer stories. Let's not do that. Calling an audible here. I'm cutting some shit. Let's do some sports. You know there's something funky going on when I'm doing a sports story.
The West Mifflin School District now says accusations that a school board member shared the football team's game plan with an opposing team are credible.
Yeah, but Mark Uhas tells KDK's Mamie Ba it's not what the district thinks.
I didn't give no inside information on.
Mark Uhas defending himself against accusations that he gave out the game plan of the Titans, the district he represents, to an opposing team. In a one-on-one interview, he tells me that is not what happened.
I would never do anything to hurt these kids. And basically, you know, I love a lot of them like they're my own kids.
Last week, Wednesday, Mark says he was in the area when the Elizabeth Forward Warriors were practicing. He tells me while watching, he and Warriors coach Jacob DeMarco got into a heated exchange.
Oh, I just says, well, I wish I was going to be here Friday night to watch one wild kid up here.
On Monday, the district sent this letter to parents. Superintendent Jeffrey Souls writes in part, the facts the district has gathered correlate with the accusations made. Uhas' son, Shane, was the assistant coach of the Titans. He tells me he was terminated Friday, just a few hours before the game.
They say that they did a thorough investigation, but I was never questioned, never asked anything. I think that I was used as a pawn in a political game here.
Mark tells me resigning is out of the question. Looking into our cameras, he said this to anyone coming to the upcoming school board meeting.
Speaking out to all the Western community, come to the meeting Thursday. Come hear what I have to say. And then at the end, then you can make an honest judgment.
I reached out to Elizabeth Forward. The superintendent tells me he is happy with how his staff handled this. I also reached out to Superintendent Souls, asking him to respond to claims that this whole thing is politically driven. But I did not hear back. Reporting in West Mifflin, Amy Ba, KDKA TV News.
You got some pretty eyes. Damn. I don't believe that dude. I don't like his son either. Both of them look like chuds to me. I'm going to follow up on this. We're going to have to find out exactly what he's accused of doing. But apparently the school was pretty confident that he... Hell yeah, gravity bong. I haven't smoked out of a gravity bong in a really long time. What's up, Smokey Bong? Smokey Bong is right here. Hey to Mr. Bong. What's going on, buddy? I love that dude. Here's a video you're gonna love. It's a puppy, a pig, and some ducklings. I'll give that a like. A puppy, a pig, and some ducklings. Oh, I can't give it a like. My account is restricted for 22 more days. A post didn't follow the community standards on hate speech. I don't even remember. Somebody asked me what I was banned for. I was like, I don't even remember. I don't remember, BB girl. I don't think so. I think Cracker's only banned on Twitch, isn't it? Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. We'll see you tomorrow night.